Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. This is the Maverick Podcast. I am your host, DJ Maverick. Today, we are rolling out the red carpet. Once again, we have Oklahoma City Public Schools board member, the one and only Juan Lecona. Welcome to the podcast.
Gracias, Luis. Thank you for having me, man. I'm very pleased and happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Before we dive into everything, maybe for the 1% of the people out there that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. So my name is Juan Lecona. I'm the new board member for Oklahoma City Public School. I represent District Number 6.
Okay.
I'm also the first immigrant to
How
be
amazing
seated.
is that? Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Making history.
Yes, we are. I was born in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico.
Okay.
On September 16. So
Yeah.
And then so now I'm the new board member for District Number 6, and
Wow.
I represent the South Side, May Avenue to Western, from Southwest 29 to Southwest 81st Street.
Okay, got it. All right. So before we dive into all that, congratulations
Thank
once
you.
again.
Gracias.
Let's talk about growing up. You know, you said you were born 16 de septiembre,
Yeah.
16th of September. That's incredible. That's a good date, right?
El
So
Día
that's
de la
perfect.
Independencia de
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah. So you were born in Mexico. Where
Yeah.
at? Tell me a little bit about that.
So I was born in Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas, Mexico, which is just south of the border of Laredo, Texas. I was like,
Yeah.
it's close.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know what? I'm very proud of who I am. I'm very proud of my background.
Yeah.
You know, mi cultura, the food, the tequila. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I'm you know, como dicen, I'm brown and proud. And,
Oh, yeah.
and, you know, tell my kids, be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you came from so you can be proud
Yeah.
of the direction you're heading.
Yeah, it's absolutely like rich history everywhere. Like, you know, you talk about academics, you talk
Yeah.
about the arts, you talk about culinary. Mexico, like, man, it's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Right? So tell me, you know, growing up in Mexico, what was that like for you?
So my dad, he used to work at the airports. He was like ¿cómo se dice? He was like in charge of the planes and whatnot.
Okay.
So my dad would get transferred from. So we basically lived border towns from Monterrey, Nuevo Laredo, Reynosa, Matamoros.
So you guys traveled quite a bit?
Yeah, because my dad they would transfer him to, we're gonna transfer you to the airport of Monterrey or you know, Nuevo Laredo, whatnot. So
Okay.
we were basically born spread out in the border town. So like my brothers were born in Reynosa, my sister was born in Matamoros, and then another brother and myself were born in Nuevo Laredo.
Got it. So in that hierarchy, where are you? Are you the youngest? Are you the oldest? Where are you?
Well, from my dad's side, you know, because my mom had 3 other kids before she married my dad. So my dad's side, I'm the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know how you feel, but I'm the oldest one from my family. Did you feel that there was a lot of pressure to like do good and set a good example for your siblings or not?
Especially when we came over to United States, since I was like the first one to graduate and I was the oldest. So man, you I don't know if it's, I wouldn't call it a tradition.
Yeah.
Pero you tend to, you know, I got to do better for my brothers and sisters because they're watching you. You know, you're kind of the icon, if you will.
Yeah, I was talking about this a little bit in a previous podcast, and you know, when we were growing up, there wasn't really a blueprint, right?
No.
Like there wasn't really anybody that I knew that grew up with me that went to college. I didn't know like how to apply. I didn't know about like SAT scores. I didn't know about any of that, right? So I had to learn all that, you know, but I think nowadays kids are fortunate they have those blueprints, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I knew that in high school you were super involved with academics. You were also in ROTC, right?
I was a nerd. I was like the Mexican version of Steve Urkel.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, you name it: science club, math club, ROTC, FBLA, Latino club, and Latino club. Man, I great memories.
Yeah. You were like, you say Steve Urkel, but you had rhythm. I remember you were a dancer, right? Like we would see each other, you know, at concerts and stuff like that, right?
So, well, had rhythm.
Yeah, had rhythm. No, that's good. I mean, in high school, so you were like in ROTC, right? Which I think at the time, you're probably one of the few that I knew that was in ROTC. What drew you to that? Because to me, it didn't look like fun, if I'm being honest. You had to like be like super pressed, iron, ready to go. It seemed pretty strict.
At the time, I was a freshman when I came into the city, because I used to live in Yukon.
Yeah.
So when I came to the city, it was back in '94, so I was a freshman at Capitol Hill.
Okay.
And my algebra teacher at the time, she was absent, and the instructor for ROTC at Capitol Hill, he was our substitute teacher, because he was a submarine guy or dude, whatever, you know. He was a captain.
Okay.
And so this guy, math, that's his thing, you know. So they had our captain being our algebra teacher for the day. Yeah. And there was some math problem, and I solved it. My friends that was in algebra class, she said, hey, can I have your name, number, and all that stuff? I was like, what for? You know, like, I was new. Like, well, you know, the teacher was here yesterday. Like, yeah, the guy in uniform. Like, yeah, well, he's our captain of, he's our instructor of ROTC, and he was very impressed with your math skills.
That's awesome.
And so that's how I got involved with ROTC, because he requested me. Yeah. I was like, ROTC, what the heck is that? You know?
Right.
So she told me, oh, we drill, we march, we do this, we do events, and like, okay. I was kind of like ¿cómo se llama? Oh my gosh, Forrest Gump. You know, like, okay, well, vámonos, you know, let's do it. Yeah. And but that's how I got involved with ROTC, man.
Got it. What was sort of what drew you to that, right? Because like, what was sort of the things that he promised were the outcomes of being part of that?
Well, my mom, rest in peace, she has military background. Okay. So it's you know, like before the captain came to her class as our math teacher, I seen guys in uniform, and at a time there was this, can I remember her name? She was like the top cadet, and she had medals and ribbons, and like, hey man, I want that. Yeah. So when I had the opportunity, you know what? I want that whatever she has, I want it too. I want that rank, I want the position.
That's awesome.
So in my freshman year, I worked hard, and I think, but the end of my freshman year, I became an officer.
That's cool.
See, I was like I told him, I was like dedicated and like
that's awesome.
nerve.
Yeah. You know? And you were going to Capitol Hill, which Capitol Hill at the time was a little rough.
Tell me about it. Rough, you know, right? and it's true, because, and I believe, and I've told this to Jorge Hernandez, like, if it wasn't for Latino Club and me being involved in ROTC and other activities, who knows what I've...
how did you avoid all that? Because, you know, especially back in the 90s, right? Dude, like gang culture was pretty bad, right? So how did you avoid all the peer pressure, you know, everything that comes along with all that, especially being, you know, in a school where they were known to have, you know, problems at the time with all that, right?
Well, sadly for me at the time, I had a brother who was incarcerated. Okay. And yo me dije, you know what? I don't want that same thing. Yeah. I don't want my mom come and visit me at you know, wherever I'm at. Right. You know, it took a toll on my mom, man. You know, so me being the oldest, I need to set example for my younger siblings. So so like I said, I stayed focused, busy with clubs and La Agencia Latina, and then I met you, and then I met other friends, and
you met other nerds. Because I think that's how our paths sort of crossed, right? Because, you know, at the time I was at a rival school, right? So Capitol Hill and Grant, like that was like the biggest rivalry, right? So
at the time, I
think we just met like probably like some award banquet or something. Probably. I don't even remember, but at the time it's not like there was like, you know, Instagram or something, right?
If I remember, we met at the Southern Nazarene Conference.
You know, I was kind of doing similar stuff. I was trying to do good in school, right? I was trying to do all that. So it was cool to meet you and sort of see everything that you were involved in, right? So it's like, okay, cool. Like he's doing it, I'm doing it. Like, let's keep it up, right? So I think that's cool. And like I said, you know, going back at the time, there wasn't a blueprint for us. So we just had to like do it, you know? And I think that, being in those high schools, it was pretty easy. One decision away, you could get in trouble pretty easy.
Yeah.
And it could be a completely different story. We may not be sitting across from each other right now.
And that's what I tell my kids, like, you guys have it made. You guys have no idea what I went through.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, we're game free. I'll be lying to you.
Yeah.
But schools have changed, and like you said, there's back then there was no social media.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's like they got their own little cliques, and you have a group of 5 guys go to the bathroom all together, and then they're recording a fight. Like, those guys are not your friends if they're recording you getting beat up while other guys are just laughing at you, and they're supposed to be your friends. Like, come on, man, like, back me up on this.
Right. It's a different time, right? And the thing about today's sort of like generation is the social media is everywhere, cameras are everywhere, so whatever you do, it may follow you for the rest of your life.
Trust me.
Right. So I think about back in the day, I'm sort of thankful there weren't, cell phones everywhere for some of those decisions. Right. Because I don't know if I would want all that to travel with me forever.
I wish there was no phones. Now take that back, like technology, because whatever you do, say, like, right away in an instant, it becomes worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, you graduated high school. What did you want to do? Like, what were your goals at the time? Like, you were doing the military stuff, right? The ROTC. Did you want to go into that? Or?
I really wanted to enlist.
Yeah.
So bad, dude. I was like, you really, I don't know if you remember when we met Court Bush Consuelo. She was a retired Army. She was like a lieutenant. Can't remember her rank.
Yeah.
And she had this amazing story about, she was so poor that she didn't know they make $20 bills.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you remember that story. And she called up, like, oh, I never knew they make those kind of papelitos.
Yeah.
And so on one event, she came to her school, and I was so ashamed to tell that I didn't have those papelitos, so I can enlist. Because believe me, my heart was in the military. I became the highest ranking officer at in our program ROTC at
That's awesome.
school.
So you achieved your goal.
Yeah,
you wanted all those medals, and you got all the medals.
So, but sadly, because I was undocumented at the time, I couldn't enlist.
Yeah.
Believe me, I look back. I don't regret the past, but if I would enlist, I would have been retired, I would have served our country. And I told myself, Juan, why do you want to serve? You were not even born here. Mm-hmm. For me, dude, it was simple. I mean, we kind of grew up poor. My mom struggled. She was a single parent because my parents separated. So mi papá está in Mexico and we were here.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it was like
that adds another element to how difficult, right?
It was to travel the world to meet other people. But sadly, I was undocumented at the time. Yeah. I didn't get to enlist. I also wanted to become a doctor.
Okay, I see.
Pero due to the lack of proper documents. Yeah. But that was. I'm not ashamed of what I do. I'm not ashamed of my background. What I tell my kids: take advantage of the opportunities. Don't waste them. Because I told my son, I wish I had, your opportunities.
Definitely, yeah. We were talking about that off camera about you never know where one opportunity is going to lead to another opportunity,
exactly.
right?
And that's when this opportunity came up of being a board member. Like, board member, what the.
The first immigrant board member. I just want to put it back out there. Congratulations!
No, thank you, man.
That's incredible.
So I did some research and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, board member do this, and we hired a superintendent, and.
But let's rewind back. How did that even come about? Because I'm sure you weren't in your sort of vision board. I'm sure you didn't have board member, right?
It's not like it was in the newspaper. Right. Board member wanted, right?
Right. How did that even come about?
So I got invited to. Jorge Hernandez's daughter's quinceañera.
Okay.
And I was on my way to get a drink. It was happened during the summertime. Yeah. And I had it was just a drink. And
water, just water.
Yeah, water. H2O.
Yeah.
And I have a a friend of mine that approached me, you know, his name is Michael Brooks Jimenez, or you know, he's also senator. He said, "Hey, Juan, so you look nice today." Like, well, thank you, sir. You know, I mean, I kind of have to dress up. It was, you know, an event. You know, I'm not gonna just wear chanclas and.
So you were like suited up.
Yeah. So, and we started talking like, "Hey, so where do you live?" We're like, you know, Michael, I live about 3-4 blocks from our church. You know, I live nearby. I'm okay. Then he asked me, "Have you thought about being a board member?" I'm like, board member?
Yeah. You're like, what's that?
Exactly. What's that, you know? So, like, no, not really. I'm like, so what do you do? Like, I drive a semi-truck, like, over the road. Like, no, I'm home every night. So, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, I think you'll be great at it, you know, because you still live in the South Side? Like, yeah. And have you always lived here in the South Side? Like, yes, I have. And, you know.
Sounds like you were having like a pre-screening interview, like right there on the fly, right?
I didn't know, dude. I was like, hey, I was here to, you know, bailar y todo.
Right,
you know, like, I didn't came here to get solicited for.
But opportunity comes knocking, right?
So, you know, like, you know, Mike, I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know about the school board thing, dude. Like, well, think about it. And, you know, so that was in July. And then like October, maybe November, I get a text message. I don't know number. I don't know. Hey, Juan, can I have your address? Like, sure, I'm going to text you my address to an unknown number.
Who's this, right? Yeah.
So later, like, hey, I'm sorry, who's this? And then the individual replied, like, hey, I'm sorry, this is Michael. You know, like, hey, I'm sorry, Michael. Yeah, you know, sure, man, I'll forward you my address. So I gave my address, and then the next day, say, you know, when you're qualified to be a board member for district number 6. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So you didn't know as far as like time commitments or like the duties. You didn't know anything up to this point.
You know, and not knowing, I thought that they were already hired somebody. Yeah. You know, but I didn't know the process or so in December I filed and I had no opponent.
Okay. So you ran and it was not contested. Like it was like you got it. Yeah.
So, but before I decided to be a board member, you know, I talked to Mike and some friends and some advice and hey guys, you know, I don't know about this board member stuff, man. I drive a semi. I don't know, but you know, like all the friends were very supportive. Like, Juan, you know, I think you'll be great at it. Your personal story, your struggles, what you've been through, you know, I think you'll be great. So
you're a product of the public schools,
exactly. I'm also a
right?
product of Oklahoma Public School, and one evening, my wife and I were talking. And me dijo, Juan, are you gonna do this or not? And I'm not lying to you, Luis. I looked at her in the eye and like, you know what, Lucy? Like, I feel a little intimidated. Like, why? Yeah. I told her, well, I'm afraid that most likely the rest of the board members have a higher education. I just have a high school education. That's all I have. Pero me dijo, Juan, you don't have a higher education because you were undocumented at the time. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you wanted to go to college. Like, yes, I wanted to go to college.
You had the grades.
And,
right?
Exactly. And I had the grades and you know, pero, you know, due to the lack of, you know, papelitos, pero anyway, so she looked at me straight in the eye. She's 4'11", you know. She looked at me straight in the eye and said, Juan, don't let people belittle you because you don't have a title after your last name. Yeah. Your voice can make a difference.
That's awesome.
And I was like, say that again? Y me lo dijo otra vez. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Yeah. I'm doing this. And dude, my wife and I, we high-five each other and you know what, I'm doing this because if I say no, I don't want to live the rest of my life with the what if.
Right. Yeah. That's the worst.
You know, sure. and then also, you know, sometimes you have to come out of your comfort zone, and who knows what that new opportunity is going to take you to. Yeah. You know, like, I want to be the voice of those parents that their English is limited. Yeah. You know, I want them to know that, hey, I was undocumented too. My English was limited back then, and trust me when I tell you, don't give up on your goals. Yeah. You know, sooner or later, you know, the opportunity will come to you. Just stay focused, believe, and, you know, before you know it, like, knock.
Opportunity knocks, right? Yeah, we were talking about how never say no to an opportunity, right? Exactly. My default's always say yes as a default, and then if you have to fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it.
That's right.
That's my default.
Yeah.
Right. So up to this point, did you know the duties and the time commitments and all that?
No.
You decided, okay, I'm going to do it, but did you do your research? You know,
I did some research, and I did ask the previous board member, and she told me, yeah, so it's a 4-year term, kind of like, you know, the
like
president.
a president.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Got it. But like, what are we talking about? Because you've got your day job, right? And you're signing up for this. I'm assuming that's additional to your day job, right?
Yeah. So my day job is from 7 to 3, sometimes 5.
Yeah.
But so my manager, you know, once I told him that I was, you know, gonna do the school board thing, he was very supportive.
Awesome.
You know, and I told him, hey, there's days that I'm gonna have to leave early because we have meetings at 5:30. I said, well, Juan, just let me know, you know, in advance. We can, you know, work it out, and if you happen to work a little late, just, you know, get back in time so you can do whatever you got to do, go home, change, you know, and go to your meeting.
That's cool.
So they've been very supportive. And then April 10th, when I got seated, and so the next day he sent me a text that, ¿cómo se llama? Un screenshot from internet. Hey, I seen you on the news. On the news, and and he forwarded it to me. Says, well, I'm very proud of you. Like,
that's incredible, man.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. Yeah, and it's super important to have like somebody that's supportive like that, right? Because maybe a lot of jobs wouldn't be as supportive. So shout out to them for being supportive.
Oh man, definitely, for sure. You know, I am very blessed for the opportunity. Very blessed that I have a great friends that support me. You know, and my job that, you know, they work around my schedule. But there's times that, you know, I get invited during daytime events, you know, and I hate saying no, but at the same time, it was like,
right,
this wheel's got to keep on turning, man. I don't have, respectfully, I don't have an office job that I could leave and come back and, you know, continue doing my, you know.
Yeah, it's tough.
But
so walk me through that day. What did it feel like when you're like they're about to give you this, you know, like what were the feelings that you were going through? You're making history, right? So walk me through that day.
So I lost my mom 9 years ago. And when I got seated and I was doing my, you know,
your oath.
Yeah, my oath.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, it was that summer night that we came over. We had a visa and a permit. And our older brother at the time, you know, he also passed. He brought us to Oklahoma City, or Yukon, excuse me.
Yeah.
I was thinking about my mom. All the sacrifices that she made. She worked 2 jobs. There were days that she was just tired.
Yeah, but
she got up and went to work because she had little kids to feed.
Yeah,
you know, it's my older brother time, so he was married and he has his family. So we lived. We had a rental house. You know, no AC. Just a little 4 furnace. Man, we grew up poor.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about my mom and all the sacrifices that she made, and even though I was kind of emotional inside, you know, but I was telling
myself, you had to play it cool, right?
I was telling myself, you know, Juan, if your mom was here, she would be so proud. And even though she's not here, you know, physically, I know that she's proud, dude.
Yeah, absolutely, she is.
Pero that's what I was thinking about my mom.
Yeah, all the sacrifices, right? And all the times probably where, you know, you thought like, hey, maybe there's not going to be opportunities, or maybe why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? Right? Yeah. Like growing up where we did, it was tough, right? But, you know, it goes to show you, like you were saying, if you work hard enough, you know, you can accomplish your goals, right?
I had my family there, my brothers, my sisters, and I introduced, you know, to the rest of the people, hey, this is my brother, this is my sister. And so I told them, like, yeah, he's in the Air Force, she's in the Army, and I have another brother, couldn't be here. He's with my dad right now. But at one time, you know, we were undocumented, you know, and now my sister, she's a nurse. I have a brother who's in the Air Force. I have a brother who's the manager of the construction company he works for, and I'm the new, you know, first immigrant, you know, board member.
Congratulations to your family.
Dude, pero te digo, at one time I looked at my savings, like, we were undocumented at one time.
Yeah. Yeah, and all the struggles, right? Like even the struggles we haven't talked about, right?
So I on my oath, I had a little speech, and I remember saying, believe in your dreams. Don't give up. Because after all, this is United States of America, where dreams come true and opportunities are there.
Yeah.
You just have to have you have to go get it. Don't let people belittle you or look at you like, well, this is not for you because your color of the skin or the limitations that people might place on you. You have the power to change that, regardless of what the rest of the world might think about you. Oh, no, Juan, I don't think you're meant to be a doctor. Watch me.
Right. No, I agree with that 1,000%. And you're aware of sort of the bad influences and the problems that we were facing when we were in school, right? So now that you're sort of part of this board, walk me through some of the stuff that kids are facing nowadays, right? Is it as bad or is it better? Do you see improvement? Walk me through that.
I think the biggest challenge right now is attendance.
Attendance.
Yeah.
Okay.
The schools that are in my district that I have visited, they all of them said of attendance.
Okay. And what schools are in your district, just for everybody watching?
Oh, I don't know by heart.
No, put you on the spot.
I have to.
You don't have to if you don't.
I know. No, you're good. And I should have been Herronville, Esperanza, Perry Queen, Jefferson Middle School, U.S. Grant.
Really?
That's the only high school I have.
That's the only one. Okay.
It's the
U.S. Grant, you're listening. Be on your best behavior.
I have, I think, 9 elementary schools.
Okay.
Jefferson, Emerson South, and U.S. Grant.
Wow. Okay, so it's mainly elementary, middle school, and just the one high school.
One high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't get Capitol Hill.
No, dude, because I live just on this side of the district where, we're like, dang it.
Yeah. No, so attendance, right? I mean, that's a little surprising to me, right? Yeah. Do you think that's due to kids not going or the parents not able to take them because of work commitments or what's going on there?
Both. Especially elementary kids.
Okay.
Kids don't drive to school. They're in elementary.
Right.
So whether a parent might have whatever difficulties they might be going through or the car's not working or whatever I encourage those parents that have kids in elementary, make an effort.
Yeah.
Take them to school. I would rather have your son or daughter be late 1 hour and instead of missing the whole day.
Right.
So that's that with elementary. Middle school, it's kind of like the same thing. There's like they go to school, but they don't go in school.
Really? Okay.
And then with the U.S. Grant, it's like they drive to school, but they don't go to school.
To school. Okay.
So ditching, it's part of this problem.
Wow. Okay.
But that I just wish, our students would take advantage of free education, because when I was in Mexico, I had to pay for, my parents, had to pay for books, pencils, you name it. We had to pay for
uniforms, lunch,
lunch,
Yeah.
So take advantage of free opportunities. It's a free education.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up for yourself.
Yeah. So do you get access to all the metrics and analytics of like how many days and like versus how many days they're allotted? Or is it like really bad where it's like lopsided? They're in danger of not progressing to the next level or what?
Well, I do have access to all that. There's certain things I can say, certain can't say. Pero so right now, the current policy for attendance after your 11th unexcused attendance, you start losing credit.
Okay.
And that's per you. I think they give you 10 per semester unexcused, and I think that's a lot of days, dude.
That is a lot of days. So you're saying that it's way over potentially of the allocated 10 days.
I wish it was a shorter period instead of 10 days.
Yeah. I
don't know, maybe narrow down to 8 or maybe 5, but it's something that I would like to look into and see when was the last time that policy was, updated. So if it's, it's like, oh, this policy is like 10 years ago. Like, well, we need to change it.
Right, right. And I'm sure you're brainstorming ideas. So you're probably looking at maybe incentives of like, what can we do for the parents to get them incentivized to do a better job, right? Especially for elementary. I don't know if you explored any ideas there.
One of the principals that I talked to, she mentioned that she gives them a gift card for those students that have a perfect attendance. That they don't, but that money that she buys for the gift cards, it doesn't come out of the district. It comes out of her own pocket.
Out of pocket. Oh wow.
And I'm like,
that's not sustainable.
No, like
No.
she doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no teacher or principal have to. I mean, it's great that you want to encourage your kids. Don't get me wrong, but I think parents should encourage their child.
Yeah.
Hey, son, daughter, you need to be in school. I need you to. I want your life and future be better than what I had.
Right.
And that's what I tell my kids. Like, son, I grew up poor, mijo.
Mm-hmm.
We had no AC. Going out to eat, that was like a rare thing, dude.
Yeah, hay comida en la casa.
Yeah, I frijoles in la casa, and believe me, we ate frijoles just about every day. And sometimes I would have to turn the plate the other way. Oh, it looks different today. And then the following day, I had to flip it the other way.
Right.
So,
gotta get creative.
I tell my kids, like, dude, we ate leftovers for days.
Yeah,
sure. Like today, you guys. Oh, mom, can we get pizza? Okay. I don't feel like eating where we have it. I'm gonna go down to the whatever store or restaurant, excuse me, and buy me some dinner. Like, no, son, I como dices tú, hay frijoles en la casa.
Right, absolutely.
Come on, dude.
So me, having an entrepreneur mindset, what I'm thinking about incentives is like, what if there was partnerships with like local businesses or even national business to provide incentives to the students that are doing what they're supposed to do and keeping up their grades. I'm sure somebody's probably explored that, but if not, maybe that's a potential idea.
Yeah, there's programs, I think, that have get kids involved. So that would be great, dude.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Believe
Besides
me.
the attendance, what else are you seeing as far as like, peer pressure or what's sort of some of the other negative aspects that they're facing nowadays?
Ditching, gang related stuff.
Okay, so still gang is still pretty prominent.
Yeah, pero te digo, I've been seeing it since April 10th.
Okay,
that's what I know so far.
Yeah.
When the school starts again, the school year in August, where I'll probably find out more. Like what?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to be cool for them to see you and develop a relationship with you, right? Because they're going to see this guy's a product of the schools. He knows what it's like. He knows of all the challenges. So I think that's going to help too, right? Like if you can develop a relationship with the kids, maybe have a little peer pressure of like, hey, I'm holding you guys to a high standard. I want you guys to perform, right?
So I've been invited to school events.
Yeah.
And I usually introduce myself in Spanish.
Okay.
And then in English.
Cool.
Because I want them to know, hey, él también habla español. And I tell them, look, I'm the first immigrant. And I try not to push that envelope a lot.
Right.
But at the same time, I want to encourage, and young undocumented student, just like myself, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. And I tell people, don't give up on your dreams. Don't let people tell you can't do this or, whatever area you live or the limitation that people might place on you. You have the power to change that. It's mind over matter. You can do whatever you set your mind to, So after all, like I tell people or students, like this is the United States of America, the land of opportunities.
Right.
Take advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was just reading about Jay-Z, and he's admitted to the past, right? Like he used to be a drug dealer. He used to do like super broke. Like he just bought the most expensive house in California in history. Wow. Right. So think about him, like growing up in the projects in New York, right? Like selling drugs, coming out of nothing. He just bought like the most expensive house in California history.
Well, that's also Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
No education.
Yeah.
He has no college degree. And look at him now, dude.
Yeah.
Very successful man.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you don't have to have an education to be successful. In his case, he was just very lucky.
Right.
And hey, that's great. That's awesome. But I do tell my kids, hey, get a higher education. I don't care. If you don't want to go to college, that's fine. There's other schools, Voltech, but get something besides a high school diploma.
Yeah, I think the most important part there, and you tell me if you agree with this, is kind of knowing what you enjoy doing, right? Because if you follow what you enjoy, then doors are automatically going to be open, right? So don't just think that you have to go to college. But if it is something like, if you do want to be a doctor, if you want to be an engineer, you have to go to school. Like there's no ifs and buts, right? But if you want to be an entrepreneur, maybe there's another way to go about it, right? It just depends on what your skill sets are, what your passions are.
So my dad was an engineer, and the thing about Hispanic parents, hey, mijo, I want you to be an engineer like me or doctor. Yeah. Okay, Dad, that was your dream, Dad. But my dad, he like, mijo, I want you to be an engineer too. I got the math from my dad. Yeah. There's no doubt. But I wanted to be a doctor, because my mom was in the medical field, and then she was also in the military in Mexico. So military is something that I wanted to do, and also be in the medical field. But my dad, no, mijo, you should be an engineer. Respectfully to the parents out there that are listening, let your kid live his dream.
Yeah, pursue their passions, right?
Just because you didn't get to achieve your dream for whatever personal reason, or back to your, home country, whether it was Mexico, Guatemala, or whatever, respectfully, whatever country you're from, maybe back then you were a teacher, a doctor, don't push your son or daughter to do the same thing as what you were back then. Yeah. Let them pursue their dreams.
Yeah, because even best case scenario, let's say they do achieve that, right? Like they do become a doctor, they do become an engineer. They may be miserable doing that, right? So they did it just because they had to check that checkbox.
Because mom and dad want me to be a doctor, just like, oh, mom was a doctor, my dad was a doctor too, so I had to no. So this is what I tell my own kids and the students: your parents' path does not determine your future. Yeah, my dad, for real, dude, aerodynamic engineer. My mom, a nurse, and also in the military in Mexico. I drove a semi truck. Yeah. I mean, you just never know, and it's sort of the opposite side of that coin. Is like where you grew up, and limited resources doesn't dictate your future either, exactly.
Right? Like you can become somebody regardless, right? Yeah. So for those that are watching, I don't want you to think that it's not possible. I always think if I see somebody that has done it before, it's doable. Yeah. Right. Like there's steps there. There's a blueprint to follow your dreams there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like be the first to do something completely different than your family members. Yeah. They might say, hey, well, none of us have achieved being a doctor. Well, I'm going to be the first one in my family to become a doctor. I'm going to be the first one to get me a master's degree. I'm going to be the first one to get me a PhD. Yeah. But believe me, Dad, Mom, I'm going to be the first one. Right. I don't want to be, a farmer, respectfully. I mean, we need farmers, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But if you have the power to do something greater, go for it.
Do it. Yeah.
Because the only individual who can stop you from reaching your own goals is the person you look in the mirror every morning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. So besides attendance and sort of the metrics around that, what are your other duties, right? Like you're a board member. Are you responsible for everything like surrounding that school? Like what's sort of the duties that you have to sort of keep track of?
Well, we have open records, so whatever we spend money on, it stays out there for the public, so they can see it. Okay. But we, like I said earlier, we hired a superintendent. Make sure we're basically his boss.
You're doing it because you want to see these kids succeed. You want to set an example, right?
I want to see kids succeed, but mine as well, because they're a product of Oklahoma State Public School. My wife was a product of Oklahoma State Public School, so was I. So you have to have the passion for it. Yeah.
Absolutely. What about if you have ideas of programs, are you able to introduce like ideas? Hey, I think that this would be beneficial. Like, are you able to allocate budget for like ideas and programs that you think would be beneficial?
So when we have a board meeting, we have to stick to what's on the agenda, and then after our board meeting's over, I can talk to or mention to, hey, I have this idea, and then we can look into it.
Okay.
But it's not like, let's say that we have a board meeting today. You know, hey, I like to, bring this up. No, we have to stick to our agenda.
Got
and
it.
then at a proper time later,
Yeah.
we can discuss other matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what are your goals that you've outlined for yourself? Because I'm sure if I know you, you've already got like your goals for, what you're going to achieve in this position. What are your goals?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, attendance.
Attendance.
I think if we look at that policy, maybe change it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't change it myself.
Yeah.
It takes all of us to make changes, because as a board member, as an individual, I have zero power.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I can go to U.S. Grant, hey, Mr. Principal, I don't like this. I need you to change it. It's not going to work.
Okay.
Attendance, let's have less dropout rates. Let's have more kids, students stay in school. Have more graduates every year. Let's say that at the beginning of the year we have, 500 seniors.
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep that number at the end of the year, or if they transfer to a different school or district, let's keep a track of that individual that left our district to go to another district and see whether he or she graduated. That's things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I like it. I think you're going to be super successful, right?
Thanks.
Because if you've already, gone through that, you've experienced sort of the peer pressure, you've experienced some of the bad stuff that could happen in schools and how to avoid that. I mean, I think you have the perfect example, right? To lead by example, right?
Thank you.
I think you do, right? Let's pivot a little bit and let's talk about like maybe what you do outside of that. You've got your day job, you've got this board member position. What else, right? Like,
well, I'm a father of 4 kids.
Okay.
I have 2 boys and 2 girls. So my oldest, he's 18.
Yeah.
And then my elder son is 16. And my 2 daughters, they're 8 and 3.
Okay. Wow.
So that there alone, dude, it's a
keep you
challenge.
busy.
It's a challenge itself.
Yeah.
I got my oldest son who's 18, and then my youngest daughter who's 3, and then they all have different needs and different wants. But
are they into like sports or music or anything with the schools?
Well, my oldest son, he was in sports. He did baseball. And
Okay.
He also did ROTC and became
Nice.
color guard commander, just
Yeah?
like I was.
Nice.
So I was like, my wife and I, because she
Yeah.
was also color guard commander at her school.
Oh, okay.
So she was also a part of ROTC.
Yeah.
So we were both very proud when he was given the opportunity to become color guard commander. Like,
Yeah.
I was like,
That's awesome.
very proud.
Yeah.
And then my other son Jorge, he's a special need kid, but
Yeah.
you look at him too, Luis. He brings life to the party, dude.
That's
he
cool.
is of carefree.
Yeah.
He loves to dance. He loves to eat.
Me too. Yeah.
But he's the type of kid that you want him at your party.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoys life. He enjoys the moment. He's like I said, he's carefree.
I'm sure he's sort of teaches you how to appreciate the little things in life, right? And to slow down maybe and like just be happy, right? Like I'm sure.
My daughters.
Your daughters.
They keep. Yeah. So my 9-year-old daughter, is a little while back, we were Winter Sam's.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me out, hey, Dad, like, see, mija, you haven't bought Mommy flowers.
Oh, wow.
You know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So my 2 girls, dude, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
Because when you have boys, you can go to the restaurant and eat wings and
Right.
watch sports. But with the girls, like, Daddy, can you take me to the movies? Daddy, can you do this?
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy, can you, like I said, my daughter, she called me out earlier. Dad, you haven't bought Mommy flowers. So, yeah, my girls keep me busy, man. They keep me on
That's cool.
on track.
Yeah, it's definitely different, right? And
Yes.
And I think it's cool that they remind you of that stuff, right? Because sometimes we get so busy with life and everything that we forget about the little things that are really the ones that matter.
So when this movie came out, she said, Dad, you can be busy this week? Like, mija, I have a board meeting, I have another event, and I have this and that.
Yeah.
And she said, if you're not too busy on Friday, can you take me to the movies?
Man.
I was like, Emily, I have one interview.
Yeah.
After that, I am free. And
I was going to say, how do you say no to that?
And if something comes up,
yeah.
I'm going to cancel it because, you know, it's Friday and I also got to be a parent too, man.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
I don't mind going to events and doing what I do as a board member.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I have my regular job.
Yeah.
You know, my duties as a board member, but I'm also a father and a husband.
Yeah.
So I have to balance all of that. And then with my little girls, hey, Dad, can you take me to the movies? Like, sure, Mija, where you want to go? But that day, and it was like a date. So I took my 2 girls. We went out to eat, and then we went to the movies. And I enjoy that, man. I enjoy being with my little girls. You know, it's like, especially when they call me Poppy, like, yes, what do you want? It's like
they just have you in the palm of their hand, right?
They do.
Yeah,
they do.
That's important. I think that's good, right? Like you want to appreciate as much time as you have with them. So that's good that you're doing that too, right?
Yeah, because I tell them, you know, one day I'm not gonna be here.
Yeah,
and I try to cherish, you know, every daddy and daughter moment, and you know, I cook for them and I do stuff with them, and one time I was so tired, dude. I got home, I took a shower, I slept, I fell asleep in the sofa. So my little girl, you know, she had her little makeup stuff and she did her makeup. I was that tired that I didn't.
Feel it?
I woke up, I was like, my wife took a picture of me, like, hey, let me take a picture. Like,
nice.
Like, honey, I
you had a whole makeover,
dude. I had like makeup on. Like, you gotta be kidding me! I was that tired.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So I'm glad that you brought up the cooking, because I think that's another passion that you have, right? Like, you enjoy cooking, right? So how did that come about?
Well, when I was a freshman, I started working at this restaurant.
Okay.
And there's where I learned how to cook.
What type of food was it?
It was like breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
You know, they're only open from 6 to 2.
So it was like a diner type of situation. Yeah. Okay.
So there's where I learned how to cook, make waffles, French toast,
really?
You know, all that stuff. So yeah. So
I mean,
I can cook, man. Yeah. I enjoy cooking.
That's cool.
Like my kids, sometimes I'll follow a new recipe.
Yeah.
And I have to like make, you know, instead of adding too much of this, I'm gonna cut back on it. And so the next time I make it, like, tastes better.
Yeah,
you know,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy doing just traditional, like, American style breakfast, or you also do like Mexican stuff? Like, what type of culinary do you enjoy doing the most?
Both.
Both.
I do both.
Yeah. Okay.
I love my huevos rancheros como as much as I love my omelets.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So working at this restaurant, I learned how to make almonds. Almonds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, pero it's fun, man.
Cool.
I enjoy cooking for my kids and wife.
So Saturday, Sunday, you got it covered. Like, breakfast is on you, huh?
We have this thing. All of us, since it's 6 of us, you know, we pick a date on the calendar. So Monday, whatever, you know, if let's say that I grill over the weekend, we'll have leftovers.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Taco Tuesday.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
Wednesday, whatever, and then like Friday I love Friday, especially now with my 2 girls. They're younger. They're 8 and 9 and 3.
Yeah.
We have movie night.
Okay.
So they pick whatever movie they want to watch, or we go out to movie theater. But Friday's movie night. You know, we have family time.
Yeah. And what's the last movie that you saw?
It was Mario. When I took
I haven't seen that. Yeah.
It's all right, man. I liked it. I mean, it was okay. I liked it.
The last movie I saw was Fast and the Furious.
Which one?
Whatever the number, the 1000. I don't know. They're like, they just keep going and going. And even now, the latest one, they left it on a cliffhanger too. So there's going to be another one. I don't think that's ever going to stop. Like, that franchise is going to go forever.
It'll be like 80, you know?
Yeah. Fast and the Furious, like 1 million or something,
back
right?
There, in the future, be the slow and the,
and the calm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. So you lay out sort of like the calendar of food and events and stuff. Right?
You know what, dude? It's great to have that.
Yeah.
Because my wife and I, we both work, and then with events with the school board, you know, it's very very easy to just swipe your card and get takeout.
For sure.
But when you have your calendar of what you want to eat for what we're gonna eat for that day, instead of what are we making today? You know what? Let's go get takeout. So we have a menu, for the week. Or
that's awesome.
Milanesa que enchiladas or chile rellenos or things like that. But it's
nice. I know I'm going to call out during the week. Hey, what day is today,
man.
Juan?
Yeah. Why not, man? Give me a call.
That's awesome. So one thing that I always ask my guests, if I were to pull up your playlist, what am I going to find, right? Like, what type of music do you listen to? Because I'm a music nerd, so I always want to hear what people are listening
to. I listen all kinds of music, from Metallica to Grupo Frontera, Ramon Ayala, Topaz, Grupo Pegaso.
Nice.
I listen to like Three Doors Down, country music, George Strait. You gotta listen. You gotta listen to country music.
Yeah, absolutely.
George Strait, Reba McEntire, Garth Brooks.
And you were listening to that Capitol Hill days? You were listening to the country stuff, or did that come later in life?
No, actually, when it was back in 93, when I started listening to Garth Brooks, because I used to live in Yukon.
Oh, that's where the connection. You grew up in his hometown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Another question I always ask is to tell me a cool story or something about you that most people don't know about you. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
So when we came to Oklahoma City back in 94, that's when we got here. In 95, 96, 97, we went to the state of Arkansas to work on the cotton fields.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my summer job.
Wow.
Dude, it was hot.
I bet.
It was like from 6 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday was from 6 to 12.
Jeez. What age were you? Do you remember?
Oh, dude, I was like, we were legal enough to work.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. Like back in the day, I'm sure like kids were probably working that shouldn't be working.
Yeah,
right?
we work in the fields, man. Picking cotton, it's trying to survive.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, but not a lot of people know that about me.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'm sure you're grateful, right? Like at the time, you probably hated it.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, dude.
You're like, I'd rather be on vacation with, the rest of the friends.
So,
whatever,
like, and like you said, my vacation was working on the fields, dude.
Yeah.
We were so broke, dude. I mean, my mom was a single parent. My dad, he helped financially when, but he would send money from Mexico to United States instead of the other way around, instead of us sending him money.
Right.
So, but my dad, I'm very grateful for my dad. Even though my parents got separated, my dad was still, he's
a part of your life.
Yeah, he's in. When I go visit him in Mexico, he's like, mijo, your mom, she raised you. Like, Dad, I'm very appreciative that you see that, but at the same time, you helped too, Dad. No, mijo, give all your credit to Mom. Like that, whatever money you sent us, that's money that my mom didn't have to, work for, because your dad sent us, I don't know, $300.
Right.
It's like that's $300 that my mom didn't have to come out of her pocket.
Yeah.
But you helped too. But my dad is like, your mom raised you guys. She very proud of your mom, and I'm very proud of you guys. Or los quiero mucho. He gets very emotional. He's 77 now.
Okay. Cool.
And when I talk to my dad, he's like, he always gives credit to my mom.
Yeah.
And I love that, dude. And
yeah, that's awesome.
So I told my dad, Dad, thank you. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for being thank you for being my father.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you two problem had, my dad was, he took the father figure very seriously. Even though, like I said, they separated, but my dad helped financially.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's cool. Sometimes I reminisce and I think about going back from like summer vacation in middle school or high school. All the kids like, what'd you do this summer? Where did you go? And
picking cotton.
Like you were picking cotton. Like I was like mowing and I was installing sprinklers with my dad. Yeah. Right. So like, I don't know. I wouldn't trade those days, but at the time it was tough, man.
I wouldn't either. And that's what I told my kids.
Yeah.
Like you guys have it.
Yeah.
You guys are so blessed.
Yeah.
So lucky.
That's incredible. Well, I want to congratulate you once again. We are running out of time. We'll have to have you back. You know, this is your house. Whenever you want to stop by and share your story or share any updates or just come hang out, you're always welcome. Yeah. It was great catching up, and congratulations once again, making history.
Gracias.
The first immigrant Oklahoma City Public Schools board member. It's incredible.
Muchas gracias.
Definitely, like, one of the things I want to do with this podcast is give people their flowers, right? Metaphorically, right? Like, give you the flowers. Congratulations. I'm proud of you, right? Keep doing it.
Thank you, Luis.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
It's been cool to hang out. So
it's great seeing you, dude.
Awesome. All right, there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the super talented Juan Lecona on the Maverick podcast. Keep grinding, because in dreams we trust.